First-time home buyers, this video is for you. These are the must-knows if you're a first-time home buyer looking to buy in San Diego. Buying your first home in San Diego is not like buying a home anywhere. Between wildfires or high fire zones, HOAs, microclimates, traffic, there's some unique things that you need to know about before you choose to buy a home. So in this video, I'm going to cover some San Diego specific things and things that you may not think you need to know, but you need to know before you decide to buy a home. So first of all, let's talk about fire zones and homeowners insurance. The reality of it is pretty much the entire San Diego County is in a high fire zone, especially in areas like Rancho Bernardo, Ramona, Escondido, Alpine, places like that. But in general, the entire county is high fire zone. So over the past few years, we've seen a lot of insurance companies, homeowners insurance companies, leave the state of California altogether. And some of this has caused homeowners to have to use the California Fair Plan, which can cost double or triple what it used to. It can get pretty expensive. So this is something that before you choose to buy a home and close on a home, know what your insurance looks like. And condos aren't exempt from this. So yes, the HOA has a limited liability insurance policy that covers usually outside of the studs. And you, as a homeowner, are responsible for inside of the studs. So you're still gonna need insurance for it. So just a tip, before you fall in love with a home or choose to buy a home, make sure you reach out to your insurance agent and know exactly what your insurance situation looks like before you move forward. And just so you know, don't be scared to buy a home in San Diego. This is not a San Diego thing. This is a California-wide thing. So next, let's talk about HOA fees and some hidden community fees when it comes to buying a home. And just so you know, you don't have to be buying a condo to have an HOA fee. The reality is, San Diego in general is filled with communities with HOAs. That's everywhere in the county. Let's just say you're approved for $1 million for easy conversation. When you factor in an HOA fee, you're approved for less. So make sure you factor those in before moving forward. So typical HOA fees. Now they can cover lots of things, from limited liability insurance to trash to water to amenities, but they range typically between $300 and $650, but they can go above $800 for certain places downtown. And if you're looking in a retirement community that includes food and things like that, it can be a couple $1,000s every month. And when you buy in a community that has single family homes, the HOA can be really low, but that covers community areas, like if your community has a pool or something like that. So it could be even less than $300. Now, if you're someone that's looking to finance a home, which most of us are, HOAs have to be approved for certain financing like VA and FHA. So if you're looking to buy a condo or in an HOA community, before you do that, have your lender make sure that they are VA and FHA approved if those are the loans and that's the financing road that you're going to go down. And next, don't forget to ask about assessments or upcoming assessments. What I mean by that is that sometimes the HOA, if they have to put a new roof on or they plan on doing termite, they're going to add an additional fee to your monthly HOA fee. Now, that fee is not permanent, but something you should know about. So if HOA communities are something that you're touring and that you're looking at, the listing agent of any property in this community should be able to answer these questions for you pretty easily. Okay, so let's move on to climate zones. Now, San Diego is very well known to have the best weather in the world. That being said, the weather can be different depending on which area of San Diego County you choose to live in. So the first one is coastal zones. This could be anywhere from Imperial Beach down south by the border, all the way up to Oceanside, Del Mar, La Jolla, Point Loma, all within the middle, Encinitas, things like that. These are the coastal areas of San Diego. So this area is very well known to be naturally air conditioned. Now, there are a couple things that you need to know if you're not in San Diego or moving from out of state or something like that. We have a thing called May Gray and June Gloom. What this means is the marine layer likes to sit right over the coast, typically just west of the 5, and it stays there all day, all month, and it gets really annoying. So if you're just a couple miles off of the coast, east of the coast, it could be really hot, and then when you go to the beach, it's not so hot. So the next zone would be inland zones. This could be, places that are in the East County of San Diego or the North County East, places like that. That would be Rancho Bernardo, Poway, Santee, El Cajon, places like that. These areas are going to be hotter year round, and it's important to have HVAC, AC if you're going to be living in this area. Solar would be huge because it's sunny basically 24/7. And if you're someone that's looking to buy in East County or one of these areas, just know that in the summer it can get hot, in the 90s, even 100 degrees sometimes. The next zone would be mountain zones. This is a place like Alpine, Julian, Descanso. These are all very cool places to live. Summertime is going to be hot, obviously. Wintertime is going to be most likely cooler than central San Diego. And even places like Julian, you'll get snow in the winter, which is great if you enjoy that or have kids or a family and want to get out of the city and go to the snow for a while. I'm from Oregon, and we have 4 seasons up there. If you want to experience 4 seasons, the closest thing would probably be the mountain areas like Julian. And lastly, we have the desert zone. So this is one of my favorites. This would be like Borrego Springs, Ocotillo Wells, Glamis. If you like to, like me, someone that likes to take off-road toys out to the desert, this is the spot for you. Now, this is an hour and a half to 2 hours outside of downtown San Diego. So it's still in San Diego County. And it's a great place for outdoor stuff, camping, things like that. I take my kids out there and we love it. But again, you got to pick what time of year you go there, or if you want to live there, just know that there's pretty extreme difference in temperatures. So just a tip, depending on where you want to live in San Diego, just know that the temperature can range sometimes 25 degrees depending on what part of the county you're in. Rule of thumb, coastal cooler. Farther you go east, the hotter it's going to get. Okay, moving on, let's talk about transit, commutes, lifestyle fit, things like that. So, San Diego is very car dependent. Even though we're trying to be more of a transit city, you kind of need to have a car. And just a quick rule of thumb, San Diego's rush hours are becoming longer and longer and longer. So just wherever you go, expect traffic. Now, San Diego is not LA traffic, but we definitely have it, and rush hour is a thing countywide. San Diego has a great freeway system. We have freeways all over the place. So if you're in kind of the central area all the way out to East County, you should have several freeway options that will make your commute a lot easier. Now, if you're someone that wants to use the transit system, I would say that a good place to shop for a place to live is between UTC or University Town Center, University City, to downtown. You will have easy bus routes, trolleys, things like that between those areas. So that's where you should shop if you're a transit person. And as always, when it comes to real estate, I encourage you to look at these areas during the week, at night, on weekends. Take the drive around from your work to that home at different times, just so you know exactly what you're getting into. All right, moving forward, we're going to talk about environmental issues and inspections of properties and things like that. What you can expect in general when it comes to buying a home in San Diego. So if you're moving from out of state and you're not used to termites, expect every home to have termites. Unless it's built 100% out of concrete, then there's a strong possibility that it has termites. So sewer lines, this is the drainage system from your house out to the sewer lines. Now, a lot of these homes were built 50 to 70 years ago, and they were built with cast iron pipes. Cast iron pipes have roughly a 50-year lifespan. So all of those are failing in San Diego. There's lots of different ways to take care of that, but make sure you get your pipes scoped if they are cast iron. If you're on a coastal property, then you get salt from the ocean. Salt doesn't do any good for anything. So expect more maintenance, higher maintenance costs, and maintenance that you have to do more often if you have coastal property. Things like paint, window cleaning, things like that. Anything that you leave outside, your bike will rust, your car will rust faster. You know, there's things that you got to think about on the coastal properties because of the salt. So lastly, let's talk about some costs. So if you're a first-time home buyer, obviously this is the first time you've been doing this. So let's break down some of the costs that are involved with buying a home. So the first one is inspections. This can be a general physical inspection of the property. This can be a sewer line inspection, foundation inspection, stuff like that. And they can range greatly depending on what you're trying to do. But in general, the inspections would cost you between $500 and $1,500. But again, it could be well more than that if there's things that are wrong with the property that we need to investigate. Next would be appraisal. If you're getting an appraisal because you're financing, you expect to pay between about $500 to $800 for an appraisal. Next would be escrow, title fees, lender fees, things like that. Check with your agent and your lender to see exactly what these are going to cost you. But in general, I can tell you that they cost between 0.5% and 2%. of the purchase price. Next would be property taxes. So depending on what area of San Diego you're buying in, it can vary, but the good number to use, the general rule here in San Diego is 1.25% of the purchase price. That's what you can factor into taxes each year. And lastly, homeowners insurance. Again, we discussed this earlier. Check with your insurance agent because this can range widely depending on what type of home you have and what part of San Diego County you're in. And in closing, just a couple tips. So San Diego is known as an expensive area to live. You know, our average price point in 2025 right now is $935,000. Depending on which part of the county you're in, it can be well more expensive than that, or it could be a little cheaper. And a thing to consider, we are in a military town. So what does that mean? We have military jets that fly around all of the time. Military jets are loud. My son loves them. But if you're someone that's working from home, then you want to make sure that you're not necessarily close to some of the flight lines in Miramar and places like that, because there are jets that fly pretty much every day. It is considered the sound of freedom, which is super cool, but if you're working from home, it can be not so cool. And as always, if you're working with a real estate agent, make sure you work with someone that knows the ins and outs of these communities, that can give you tips like this so you don't have to figure them out after you bought a home already. And lastly, if you're a first-time home buyer, congratulate you on making the choice to buy a home. It's always a fun process. It can be stressful, and if we can help you out with anything in that department, please let us know. See you next time.